Hi and welcome to this video. Let's assume that you want to track something that's within your company and that's not really there on NetSuite for you to manage. Let's say, for example, you want to track your vehicles. Now, if you want to track your fleet of vehicles, then you could obviously go and buy the fixed asset register, but then you'd still have to develop it, and maybe you don't really need to track your record in that way. You really want to track it as a table, keep the information in, have maintenance information, maybe drivers information, etc., etc. Now, NetSuite allows you to create new tables. Of course, you need to be logged on as an administrator for this or as someone who has the permission to create these custom elements. But in today's video, I'm going to quickly show you how it's done. So first you need to go to customization. You'll go to list records and fields, and then you'll go to record types. Here, just click on record types just to make sure that someone has already created something like this for you. So you're going to scroll down and just make sure that the vehicles, for example, don't exist. Okay, once you've gone through it and you see that, okay, vehicles are not there, you're going to click on new type here. And what you're going to do is you're going to decide to name this record. So let's call it vehicle. Right. So the first thing you're going to want to decide is if you want to name these records every time, like give the vehicle maybe the license plate number or whatever. So is it going to have a name or is this just a record that you're going to be entering the name on? So let's keep for this time the include name field. Maybe I want to show the created date on the record, on the list, maybe the last modified dates. Maybe I want to allow user interface access, mobile access. I want to be able to send emails from this. Maybe I want to quick search this. And well, basically all these options are here to let you set preferences on your record type itself. Now, you might also want to create subtabs if you know which subtabs you're going to be using on that customer record. So for example, you have your main section as on any record on NetSuite, but then you could have subtabs. So one could be like, for example, maintenance. The second one could be driver. The third one could be, let's say, I don't know, use, for example, or usage, where you're going to be pulling up information from your vehicle to let you know where the driver was, with geotags and whatnot. Okay, let's leave it at this for the time being. Of course, we could set permissions and only allow, let's say, the administrator to access this and no one else for the time being. You have to, on the access type, check use permission list. Okay, so it's going to use these permissions. I've already made a video on this, of course, on our channel about the permissions on custom records. Okay, now the custom record exists, we have to go back to it. So we could go to the list here and look for vehicles. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to click on it. Now, I can add new fields. Don't forget that the name of the custom record is already there because we clicked on include name field. So we can decide that this name will be used for the, let's say, the vehicle registration number. So let's add different fields. So let's say the vehicle type, maybe the brand, the make. Okay, so let's go for brand. And here you might say, well, if it's a brand, I don't want to let people just enter anything in it. Maybe I want it to be a list record of existing names. And if the vehicle brand drop-down list doesn't exist, then of course you can create it by clicking on plus here. Okay, let's go for vehicle brand. Okay, and here we could have, let's say, Ford, Komatsu, etc., etc. You get the idea. So I'm going to save this custom drop-down list, and now we have it. Now we can decide which subtab we're going to set this. If we don't put any subtab, it's going to show on the main section. Okay, so let's leave it to the main section. I want it to be a normal field, and I could put some help in this. And we can allow quick add. I'm going to show you what this means later on. Now for the validations and defaulting, we could make the field mandatory. We could source that field from another list or another record. We could change the access. I'm not going to do any of this. Let's just click on save. Okay, well, save and new in that case. Now, since we saved it, we can go, if we need to the vehicle custom record. And we can have a look at what it looks like. So here, I can go to more, and I can say view records. Let's see which records we have. We have nothing. Okay, so I'm going to click on new vehicle. And here I'm going to say that this is, let's say, a new vehicle we're buying. It could be an old one too. And here is the field. Now I've ticked that I wanted to enter notes on this, enter files, and of course we could have different subtabs that we're not seeing quite yet because there's no field that we created on the other subtabs. Now let's cancel this and let's go back to the custom record itself. Now I'm going to click on new field, and now I'm going to call this all right, and this is going to be a number, so it's an integer. Okay, it could be a text, but you know, for calculation purposes, I believe that it's better than that it's actually an integer number. Now, we don't really need this in global search. We're going to store value. We might want to show in list, but this time we want to put this in the usage subtab. I want to let us quick add this. There's no validation. There's nothing else. Okay, so let's click save and new. And we're going to create a new field again, let's say this time on the driver's subtab. So let's call that driver name. This is going to be a freeform text. And I'm going to put this in the driver's subtab. I'm going to allow quick add, and that's it for the, well, maybe I want to be able to search for this. It could be a list of employees, by the way, so we could source from the employee. Instead of freeform text, if we wanted to show the employee list, we would have taken list here, and we would have looked for employees, for example. Okay, so let's save this and create a new one. Right, so what do we have left? Maintenance, maybe. Let's call this maintenance or maintained by. Okay. Now we could also call this vehicle maintained by. This is interesting when coding, you know, if you have any script. So maintained by, maybe it's also a list record from the vendors. Now you can show in list. You could decide to link this vehicle record to the vendors so that when you go to the vendor record, you will see all the vehicles that they're supposed to be maintaining. So if that's the case, just click on record is parent. And the parent subtab, if you wanted to, you would have first to create a new subtab on the vendor record, maybe called vehicles. If you don't do that, it's going to go to the custom subtab. So for the time being, let's leave this blank, and I'm going to allow quick add, and the subtab on the vehicle itself is going to be, let's say, maintenance. Okay, so we are good to go here. I'm going to save this. Now, we can create these records from the vendor, or we can create it directly by going to, record types, and then going to vehicles, and then clicking on new records here, new record. So if I click on new record, now you're going to see the three subtabs. Okay, so let's say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, Jan 2023. The brand is Ford, and the maintenance, it's maintained by, this is a list of supplier. Okay, and let's say it's these guys. The driver, it's a list of employees. We'll take someone here, the usage, this, the vehicle miles. Okay, and of course, we can have dates, we can even have usage custom records being sub-records of this vehicle, so that every time that there's a new mileage like linked to this vehicle, it's actually a new record instead of just having a field. To do this, I'm going to show you how to do that. So you can create a sub-custom record and link this to this vehicle. But anyway, let's save this. Okay, and now if I go to the driver, we have Tom Jefferson here, and let's go to the maintenance, and we have Sodexo. So let's go to this record here, Sodexo. And now if I go to the custom subtab, and I scroll down, you'll see here there's the vehicle part where I can create a new vehicle directly from the supplier, but I can also see the vehicle I created on the supplier record. If I had attached the drivers to the employee record, if I had gone to the employee record, I would also see the list of vehicles that this person is assigned to. So that's the way to create custom records on NetSuite. Now, how do you create a sub-custom record? So as we were saying, we could have, let's say, a new record type, which would be called, let's say, usage, or let's say mileage. We'll call it mileage. Okay, so mileage is fine. I'm not going to use a name field for this. I'm just going to keep it as it is. I'm not going to put any subtabs in, no permission, no nothing. I'm going to save this record type. And what I'm going to want to do is go to mileage. And on the mileage custom record, I'm going to create a new field. So the first field will be, let's say, a vehicle. We want to tie it to a vehicle. And of course, it's going to be a list. And it's going to show me the list of the custom record we just created, which is the vehicle itself. Record is parent. I'm going to allow quick add. And it's going to be within the parent record, so within the vehicle record is going to be under usage. So let's go and save a new. It's not going to have any subtabs, sorry. Now on this one, I'm going to put, let's say, miles. And it's an integer number. It's not in the global search. I'm going to allow quick add. There's no subtab, and I'm going to save a new. And I'm going to put a new date. Of course, you can name this better than me, like mileage date or something like this. And this is going to be a date field. Maybe I want to show it in list. This and allow quick add. Okay, let me save this. Okay, great. Now, Let's go back to the vehicle itself we created. And now the great thing is we see the vehicle number here, 1234 Jan. So if I search for this, I am going to find it in the search. Okay, here it is. Now let's go to that vehicle. Maybe it's not interesting for us to track the mileage record. So now we're not seeing anything here, so we're going to have to click on new mileage. Of course, we had this custom field we created for the demo for the video, but now I've got this record here. So when I click on new mileage, I'll be able to put the miles. Well, the date, I could have set it default to today's date. I didn't do that. That's my bad. You can change that on the defaults of the field when you create it. Now, there's a problem with the files and separators. Maybe we want to change this using a small script. But anyway, let's save it as it is. Now we've got the vehicle, and within the usage, we have this mileage. Now you're going to tell me, well, why am I not seeing the mileage here? Why do I have to click on edit here? The thing is, when we created the custom record mileage, when we put the miles in, I don't think we clicked on show in list. Okay, so here it is. We have to click on show in list. I click on save, and now if I go back to the vehicle, and I go back to usage, I'm going to see the miles, the date, and the remove if I want to remove this. Now, what if you want to have the date first? You could do that. You just need to customize this view. And within the results, the only thing you're going to need to do is move this date up. Rename this. And you're good to go. Okay, so if I go to usage now, it's going to be showing me the miles first, well, the dates first, sorry, and then the miles. So it might be quite annoying to have to go to a vendor or an employee or to go to customization records and record types and go to the list to find your vehicle or to create a new one. So what you want to do is go there maybe one last time and then add these to the menu. To do that, you'll have to go to customization first, centers and tabs, and you're going to want to create, let's say, a new center tab within the list sections, for example. So if I click on new here, I can call this section vehicles. And if I do this here, then of course it's going to appear on the top of the menu. Maybe I don't want this, because obviously this is a bit too extreme. Maybe I want to show vehicles within the list menu. Okay, so let's go to customization, centers and tabs, and go to center categories, and I will click on new here. Now let's call this vehicles or vehicle. Right, I'm gonna show that, sorry, on the center type classic center, could be on different centers, and I'm gonna put it in the item section, so within the list, sorry, within the list section. Okay, and insert before, maybe I want to have it before supply chain. Okay. Okay, it's going to ask for a link here. Now this link you have to create in order to assign it here. So first, let's save this. There are no links yet. It's fine. We're going to come back. So the way to get the links going is you'll want two links, just a bit like when you do a new item, you're going to want to be able to see the list of vehicles, and you're going to be maybe interested in creating a new vehicle. So let's begin with customization, centers and tabs, and center links. Let's call this new vehicle. So the way to do this is you go on the vehicles here, and you might be interested in clicking on list and click on new vehicle. Once you're on that new vehicle page, you take that URL, you copy it, and then you paste it here on the custom center link. Right, now maybe you want to see the list of vehicle. Let's call it vehicle list. Okay, and same, you're going to go back to the vehicle, you're going to click on list this time, and this is the list, so you're going to copy the URL here, and you're going to paste it right there. Now, okay, we've got the new vehicle link, and we've got the vehicle list link. Now we can save this, and once we've saved, then we can go back to customization, centers and tabs. We'll go to center categories, and we'll look for the one called vehicles. Okay, here it is. Now within the vehicle, we want to edit this center category, and we want to look for, let's say, a new vehicle, or maybe even like list, vehicle list. There you go, there's vehicle list. The label is going to be list because we'll already be within the vehicle section. And the second one is new vehicle. New vehicle, there you go. And the label is going to be called new. Okay, so now I can save this. Actually, insert before supply chain. I'm going to save that. Okay, and right now the menu should have been included on this section. Now, if I go to list vehicle, I can see list and I can see new. Okay, so if I click on new, it's going to go to the URL that we set to create a new vehicle. And if I go to list vehicle list, it's going to list me the vehicle. Now the last part of this video is going to cover the subtabs that are going to be showing these custom records, let's say from the vendor or from the employee record. Remember when we created the driver name and the vehicle maintained by fields on the custom record vehicle, we had a look at it and we decided where we wanted this to appear. And here we managed to set a custom subtab, a subtab that did not exist. And we said we want this subtab to be showing this custom record within the vendor record itself. That's why here on the vendor, okay, you can see that there's this custom subtab vehicles. Now, how did we create this subtab? How is it showing here? Now, we had to go to customization, forms, and within forms we had to go to subtabs. Here I went to the entity section because it's a entity subtab, because the subtab appears on employees or vendors. So I scrolled down and I created vehicles. I saved this. Once I saved it, I went back to the custom record vehicle field and I updated the maintained by field. And here at the bottom, instead of leaving this empty, I put vehicles in and I saved it. Once I did this, when I came back to the vendor record, I saw the vehicle subtab show. Now, if you don't see the vehicle subtab show, it might be that someone has removed it from the form that you're looking at. So if I click on edit here on this form, as an administrator, of course, I can customize the form. And when I customize the form, I can decide which subtab to show or to hide. Okay, so I'm going to click on customize form. And here you will see these are the subtabs. So the customized form, well, the form used is called primary vendor form. And you see here on the subtabs, all the subtabs that are hidden. So custom, for example, is not showing here. But we enabled vehicles, for example. Okay, and we saved it. So in case you don't see your subtab on your form, this might be the reason why. Okay, so this concludes this long video. So if you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like or subscribe. And if you've got any questions, any requirement, for example, to add a button or to create workflows or to create processes within your custom records, obviously reach out to us, reach out to your NetSuite partners and experts, and we'll all be very happy to help you out. Thank you and goodbye.